It's the dictionary. Dictionary. It's the dictionary. Dictionary. It's the dictionary. Dictionary. It's the dictionary. It's the dictionary.
Hello, word nerds, and welcome to the dictionary. I am Spencer, your host, your wonderfully silly host. This is episode F129, and you are very likely going to hear a beep at some point periodically through this whole episode. I don't know how well the mic is going to pick it up, but I can hear it so well in my ears. There it was. Oh, it's a smoke alarm. Battery needs to be changed. Oh, well, let's just deal with it. Maybe we'll just talk really fast so we can get this over with fast. All right, the first word in this episode is flesh fly. Ooh, flesh fly. 2 words. Noun from the 14th century. This is a dipteran fly whose maggots feed on flesh. Feeding on flesh. Dipteran, I think it means it's got 2 wings. The maggots, so are those the young versions of these flies? I would have said the larvae, or is that the previous stage? I don't know. Their maggots feed on flesh. But especially any of a family of flies, some of which cause myiasis? Myiasis? M-Y-I-A-S-I-S. Myiasis. Maybe it's just myiasis. Feels like there should be an extra sound in there with all those vowels. The family name of those specific flesh flies is Sarcophagidae. Sarcophagidae. It's like a sarcophagus? Nah, that's probably different. Well, I guess some flies, when they're young at least, they eat the flesh. The wonderful, tasty, moist flesh. All right, let's move on. Ooh, I got to make a sound effect. I'm going to go. Hurrah. The next word is fleshly. Adjective. I would have thought it was an adverb. Can you do an action fleshly? An adjective from before the 12th century. Number 1A, the synonyms are corporeal and bodily. Something about the body, the flesh, the physical stuff. Woo! All right, calm down. If you saw the video, you should just calm down, all right? All right, what else? Number 1B, of relating to or characterized by indulgent or bodily appetites. But especially the synonym, I think you would say lascivious. That's probably correct. Lascivious, I've heard of that word before. Has to do with the bodily appetites, I guess. The example here is fleshly desires. Yep. Oh, you have a desire to touch a body, to caress a body, whatever it is. You have an appetite for the bodily stuff. Lascivious, and indulgence of bodily appetites. Okay, now we have 1C, not spiritual. The synonym is worldly. So, I would like an example sentence here. Not spiritual. Yeah, you're talking, whatever the situation is that you're talking about, you're describing as fleshly. You're talking about the world stuff, the physical, 3D, 3-dimensional physical world that we are living in here. All the physical stuff here. Boop, boop, boop. I got lots of physical stuff here. I'm constantly surrounded by physical stuff. Now, we're not talking about the spiritual world, the fleshly world, the fleshly things. Number 2, the synonym is the 1A definition for the word fleshy, which is, it should be coming up minutes from now. Fleshy 1A. Number 3, having a sensuous quality, as in fleshly art. Ooh, that art. It makes me feel so sensuous inside. So I have the indulgence for bodily appetites. Yes, lots of art. Doesn't say, maybe erotic, potentially sort of similar, because it's sensuous. A synonym is the word carnal. That's a synonym for the whole thing, carnal. Yeah, it's all about the body, the physical stuff, and it tends to lean in the more sexy side of things. That's fleshly. Now we go flesh mint. Of course. Should we make a mint joke, even though it's not spelled like mint? You pop a mint in your mouth and it tastes like flesh? Maybe it does something to your flesh, a flesh mint? This is a noun from 1605. The proper spelling is M-E-N-T. It's obsolete. It is excitement associated with a successful beginning. Flesh mint. This is interesting. The etymology says it's from the second form of flesh, which was in the previous episode. Let's see, anything to clothe with flesh, flesh out a thing, expand on it. So I guess the idea then, if we take that idea of fleshing something out, then if we connect it to flesh mint, an excitement associated with a successful beginning. So the beginning of a thing, you're starting a new venture, a new project, a new business, and it's starting off really well. That's the opposite of this podcast. I did not have flesh mint because this podcast did not have a successful beginning. But when it has a really good start, you get so excited. You have the flesh mint, and you're like, oh, maybe now I'm gonna flesh this out. I have some excitement behind that and some motivation to flesh it out. So I have flesh mint, but it's obsolete, so it doesn't get used so much. All right, next. Next we have flesh pot. One word. Noun from 1592. Number 1 is plural, and it is bodily comfort. The synonym is luxury. The flesh pots are luxury, bodily comfort. Bodily comfort. So, I mean, yeah, I guess if you have the ability to have some luxurious things around you and provide yourself with those things, you will probably feel physically comfortable and not worried about your state of life. Oh, I think I got something in my eye. So flesh pots, interesting. There's no etymology. We got also number 2, a place of lascivious entertainment. And this is usually used in plural, also just like number 1. I want to make sure that I'm pronouncing lascivious right. I think it is. Let's see. Let's just quickly go to the LA section. But this is interesting that there's no etymology for flesh pot. I mean, we can take guesses as to why the word pot is on there. I think there's a variety of things that could be. All right, lascivious. Let's make sure we're spelling this correctly. L-A-S-C. Got to go back a page. It's sure. I don't know why I'm blanking on this word, but let's just do a quick look. Here we go. Where's lascivious? Lascivious. Yes, it is correct. So, we saw lascivious before about the indulgence of bodily appetites, and now we're connecting that to bodily comforts and luxury and all that stuff. Lascivious entertainment. So flesh pot. If you're a flesh pot, it's a noun. So yeah, I sure wish we had some etymology here. Flesh pots, and both are plural, so it's flesh pots really. It's a fun one to try and use when you don't understand it fully. Next is flesh pressing, 2 words with a hyphen. Noun from 1969. This is the act of greeting and shaking hands with people, especially when campaigning for political office. This is a phrase that they'll use. I did so much flesh pressing yesterday. My flesh is so tired from all the pressing that it did. I flesh pressed with them, and I flesh pressed with them, and they all love to press the flesh with me. It's really a hard phrase to say. Yeah, shaking hands. You're literally pressing your flesh against other flesh when you're shaking hands like this kind of and bumping mics. All right, flesh pressing. I've heard of this, not a whole lot, but I've heard of it, and I think this is what I should try and use. Hey, let's do some flesh pressing. It sounds really, really dirty, but it's really just about shaking hands, maybe hugging, maybe a little bit. Okay. Next we have flesh wound. 2 words, noun from 1655. An injury involving penetration of the body musculature without damage to bones or internal organs. If I'm going to get wounded, I would much rather have it be a flesh wound. And how can we not think of, 'tis a flesh wound, from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, I believe. That is the movie with I think it's the Black Knight who's trying to stop them and gets into a sword fight and loses all of his limbs. And he's just sitting there, no legs, no arms, a limbless knight. It's a flesh wound. I will still fight you. One of the classic scenes. I love it. Yes, no damage to bones or internal organs. Just a wound to the flesh, not all of the other stuff. Next is fleshy. This is the last. No, we actually have another flesh word after this. Fleshy. This is an adjective from the 14th century. Number 1A, marked by, consisting of, or resembling flesh. It's so fleshy. Oh, it's so fleshy. I don't really know what that means. What are we talking about here? It's just fun to say. Fleshy. Number 1B, marked by abundant flesh. That thing has so much flesh. It has an abundance of flesh. It's fleshy. But we have especially, the synonym is corpulent. And I believe, it's talking about someone who is large. They have maybe a lot of muscle, but also probably fat in their body. And so they have a lot of flesh. They are fleshy. Now, we have 2A. I think that would be a good way. And fat is a very derogative term. Some people have taken it and they like to use that word. But I think fleshy is maybe one that we should use. I don't know. What do you think about that? Is it worse? Is it better? I don't know. I just like it just because it's so weird and different. Now we have 2A. The synonyms are succulent and pulpy, as in the fleshy texture of a melon. The fleshy texture of a melon. It's pulpy. It's succulent. Maybe you are cutting open a watermelon and it is so juicy and moist, and clearly people can go in some direction with their brain on this one. It's fleshy. It's a fleshy melon, so it's got a lot of pulp and succulence. Number 2B, not thin, dry, or membranous, as in fleshy fungi or fungi or fungi. Not thin, not dry, not membranous. So that is a fleshy fungi because it is the opposite of all those things. It's maybe a fat fungi. It's moist and wet, and it's not membranous. So what would be the opposite of membranous? It doesn't have I don't know. Fleshy. I think when people are cooking with fungi, eating fungi, they probably want it to be on the fleshier side. Fleshiness is a noun. Let's see. Anything else about that? No, I don't think so. Fleshy. Oh, what's that? Was something satiation. We just watched that episode of Ted Lasso where they're talking about saying a word over and over again, and it's got that something satiation, and that's what fleshy sounds like now. Fleshy. Now we go to fleshy fruit. 2 words, noun from 1829. This is a fruit consisting largely of soft, succulent tissue. The examples, a few, just 3 examples of a fleshy fruit are a berry, a drupe, or a palm, P-O-M-E. What makes them fleshy? What makes them have soft, succulent tissue and other fruits don't? Are there some fruits that are not considered fleshy fruits? You know, you talk about eating the flesh of a fruit, but are some not considered fleshy per se? I mean, right off the bat, of course, my brain always goes to apples and bananas because those are the fruits that I eat the most. But we got oranges. Oranges, tangerines, are they fleshy? What makes it have soft, succulent tissue? Maybe an apple is not fleshy because it's more hard. But maybe an orange because it's softer. Maybe that would be fleshy. Maybe a watermelon. What do we got? Honeydews, cantaloupes. Those are sort of, they're kind of in between a watermelon and an apple, I would say. But then what else? Palm? Is that like pomegranate? I can't remember what the drupes are. We got nectarines and apricots. Plums. I would think those would be fleshy. If you got any opinions on fleshy fruits, email me, call me, do whatever you got to do. Hoo-ah! Next, we have fletch, F-L-E-T-C-H. This is a transitive verb from circa 1656. The synonym is the 1A definition for feather. Way back then, what was fletch? It says it's a back formation from Fletcher. Well, let's read that one. Ooh. Now we have Fletcher, noun from the 14th century. This is a maker of arrows. Oh, interesting. I really want to go back to feather now. Let's see. Feather. Here's feather. 1A. Any of the light horny. I mean, it's literally just the definition of a feather. Yeah, okay. So the maker of arrows is a fletcher. And so the fletch is a feather, and you put the feathers on the arrow on the back to make them fly straight. Right? That's what you do. So the fletcher is one who is putting feathers on an arrow. That's that job. It is from flesh, which means arrow, which I think we did have something about that. A fletch or a fleisch. A fleisch, spire, slender thing. But that is from, the word means arrow. So yeah. So flesh, the Anglo-French flesh and fleisch means arrow, but the word fletch is really feather because you put the feathers on the arrow. It's a little weird, right? It's a little strange. All right. Next, we have fletching. Noun from circa 1930. The feathers on an arrow, those are the fletching, but also the arrangement of such feathers. Oh, what lovely fletching you put on that arrow. You arrange those feathers in such a unique and interesting way. I wonder if it will work. Pew! And the arrow goes down. That fletching did not work. Okay, interesting. The feathers and the arrangement of the feathers are the fletching. I will try to remember this the next time I go playing archery. Is that what you do? Do you play archery? Yeah. Now we have fleur de coin. It looks like, in American English, it looks like fleur de coin, but it is not pronounced that way. 3 words, F-L-E-U-R. Second word, D-E. Third word, C-O-I-N. Pronounced quan. Quan? Quan. Adjective from circa 1889. This is being in the preserved mint condition. Oh yes, I think I'm definitely fleur de coin because I am preserved in my mint condition. I every night when I go to bed, I sleep in a jar of formaldehyde. So I have kept my mint condition. This is from French, of course. Fleur de coin. It literally means with the bloom of the dye. What? That's confusing to my stupid brain. With the bloom of the dye. kept in mint condition. So this is an adjective. So you're describing something as being perfect, great. After thousands of years, it's kept in its mint condition. Interesting. Okay. Well, I will try to remember that the next time I'm talking about something that has been preserved in mint condition. It is interesting that the word coin is in there. We talk about coins being in a mint condition or not, but it doesn't seem like it translates in the French to coin. It seems like it's something else. We have another word that starts in the same way. It's fleur-de-lis. You can spell this a couple of ways. FLEUR-DE-LIS or LYS. Are there other ways? I don't think so. It talks about the plurals. There's different forms of that. So this is a noun from the 14th century. Number 1, the synonym is the number 3 definition for the word iris. A type of flower or in your iris. Number 2, a conventionalized iris in artistic design and heraldry. So yes, it does seem like we're talking about the flower, but it's a designed flower in heraldry, in design, in art, in whatever. It's the fleur-de-lis. It's the you've seen it. You've seen it. I'll post a picture on social media of a fleur-de-lis. I think there was something about a fleur-de-lis in the Da Vinci Code. Am I remembering that correctly? Fact check me, if you will. Let's see. So what does this mean? It's French, of course. Let's see. From Anglo-French, fleur-de-lis literally means lily flower. It means lily flower. Is it flower of the lily? Because the de probably means of. So what I'm curious about is how does this connect to the previous one, fleur de coin? Because the translation, you'd think it would be flower of something. The bloom, there's a flower with that. With the bloom of the dye, that's fleur de coin. But I don't know. I was thinking it would be different or something. Fleur-de-lis. It's so pretty. The fleur-de-lis. Yeah. Now we have fleury. F-L-E-U-R-Y. Adjective from the 15th century. This is talking about a heraldic cross. It means having the ends of the arms broadening out into the heads of fleur-de-lis. Fleurs-de-lis, plural, multiples of these. It says see the cross illustration, which, oh my gosh, I went almost exactly to it. So let's look at the cross illustration. Which one of these is the fleury? Is that what we're looking for? Number 13 is the fleury. Oh, okay. So this is, it's a normal looking cross, but the ends of each of those arms on all 4 sides, they have a fleur-de-lis, a 3-pointed fleur-de-lis on each one of those. So that's a fleury. Wonderful. Let's see. Any additional etymology? It's flower. That's really all it means. Flower. Next we have flew. F-L-E-W. It's the past form of fly. I just flew in, and boy, am I tired. That was the first thing I thought of that had the word flew in it. Flew. I flew. Next we have flews with an S. Noun from 1575. This is the pendulous lateral parts of a dog's upper lip. Whoa. I was not expecting that. See the dog illustration. Go see the dog illustration. The upper lips. Those are the flews. The pendulous parts on the side. I had no idea these had a name. I guess I read the dog illustration a while ago, and I didn't know probably what it was pointing to other than just the mouth. I guess I can look back at that one. The origin of this is unknown. So what? Let's see. Back to the dog illustration. Number 3 is the flews. Yeah, I just probably said it's pointing to the chin, the underneath of the mouth. But no, those hanging down lips are the flues. They raise their flues when they're angry and they're growling at you, so they're showing their teeth. The flues go up. Up goes the flues. Uh, this is just so silly to me that of course there's a word for this. There's a word for everything. The flues. And I like the definition. Good job, lexicographers. The pendulous lateral parts of the dog's upper lip. Oh, I so hope I remember this word. All right, next we have, it's my sound effect. It's flex. Those are the sounds you make when you're flexing all your muscles. The first form of flex is a verb from circa 1521. Starting with transitive, number 1, to bend, especially repeatedly. Oh man, I so wish I had a dumbbell here. Why don't I have a dumbbell here? I'm the dumbbell. That's the thing. Here, I have a big jar of lotion, so I can, if I do my reps, I can do my flexing over and over again. I'm flexing. This is gonna get tiring, but I'll do this as long as I can. Do I have anything heavier? That's what we need. All right, we'll just do this for a while. This is awkward. Now we have 2A is to move muscles so as to cause flexion, a flexion of, and the thing that we're causing flexion of is a joint. So as I do this, my elbow is bending, it's flexing. Let's see. Yep, that's what that is. To move muscles. I'm moving my muscles. I'm moving my bicep. Obviously, look at them crazy friggin' guns. And I'm using the tries a little bit on the back. But I think it's mostly the front and my shoulder a bit. Got to keep it all tight. Let's see. And there's a table right here, so I'm trying to avoid hitting the table over and over again. Number 2B. To move or tense by contraction, and the thing that you are tensing and moving is a muscle. Just totally blocking all the muscles. We've got to do it that way. Let's flex those muscles, baby. Come to this gun show. Guns and buns. All right. Should we go back to flexing? Let's go back to flexing. I'm going to be although this is my weaker side, so I guess it's probably better to, work on that a little bit more. Number 3, the synonyms are use and demonstrate, as in flexing her skills as a singer. I am flexing my skills as a talker, my alone talker. Demonstrate and use, just doing your thing, just using your muscles, flexing them, practicing, demonstrating. Look how I can do this thing. Look at how so good I am. Intransitive, the synonym is bend. That's it. Just bend, flex a thing, piece of metal, flex it, bend it. There is a phrase, flex one's muscles. And that means, what does it mean? Tell me, I'm so confused by this phrase. It means to demonstrate one's strength, as in an exaggerated need to flex his political muscles. And that is a quote from J.P. Lash. They were flexing their political muscles. Look how good I am at politics. I know politics. I can talk to people about political things. But it was an exaggerated need. I felt so much that I needed to do this. Whatever. I don't have political muscles. I'm getting bored with the flexing, so we're going to set it down. I'm not tired. I could go on for longer, but I'm just bored with it. Okay, now, anything else about flex? This is from the Latin flexus, which is from the verb flectere, which means to bend. That's what it is. Just bending. Flex, well, we can now go to the second form of flex, which is a noun from 1905. This is chiefly British, and it means an electrical cord. Why do you call this an electrical cord? I can tell you why they call a flex an electrical cord. Because it is short for flexible cord. But why is it called a flexible cord? What is the purpose of that? Maybe when we get to the word flexible at the end of this episode, we'll have a little bit more information. Flexible electrical. Are your electrical cords in Britain land flexible? I mean, they bend, but I guess I would think of flexible as being stretchy, but no, maybe that's not right. Yeah, they're flexible because they have to bend around corners and stuff like that, and you got to roll them up and stuff like that. So, interesting. I never heard of them used that way. Now we go to the third form of flex. This is a noun from circa 1934. It is an act or instance of flexing. Look at that flex when they flexed. Oh, their muscles are just pippin' and poppin' when they flex. Now we have flex, cuff, 2 words with a hyphen. Cuff is just C-U-F-F. This is a noun from 1981. It is a plastic strip that can be fastened as a restraint around a person's wrists or ankles. Whoa. Flex cuff is also a transitive verb. I mean, that, of course, is what I immediately think of when I think of cuff, but I wasn't sure if that's where we were going to go with this. A plastic strip that can be fastened straight around a person's wrists or ankles. It's a flex cuff. So the idea is that the thing that ends up being cuffed around their wrists, before it's cuffed around their wrist, it's flexible. Well, it is flexible, and that's why it can go around their wrists, because it's flippy floppy. So it's a flex cuff. It's not the metal cuffs that are rigid and they just go on a hinge to close up around the wrists. No, it's a flexible piece of plastic. Flexible plastic? All right, let's go on to the next one. It's the last one. Tried to flex all the muscles at once. It's the word flexible. F-L-E-X-I-B-L-E. Adjective from the 15th century. Number 1, capable of being flexed. Not being flexed. The synonym is pliant. Yes, I definitely think of plastic as being pliant because it's capable of being flexed. Now, what's flexible? I mean, paper. This paper is flexible. This large paper clip thing. This plastic part is flexible because as I press on the non-flexible things, it bends. But even the metal is just a tiny little bit flexible. Next, we have number 2, yielding to influence. The synonym is tractable. So I guess if somebody is trying to push you in a direction and you agree with that, and you either physically or emotionally, mentally, they're pushing you, like, all right, fine, I'll do what you ask. I'll go make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Then you would be the one who is flexible. Number 3, characterized by a ready capability to adapt to a new, different, or changing requirement, as in a flexible foreign policy, also a flexible schedule. Yeah, my schedule is flexible. I can shift some things around. If you want to hang out, you want to go get lunch, yeah, let's do it. I'll just move some stuff around. I'll make some cancellations and calls, and I'll make space for you. My schedule, it's flexible. I do have a hard time being a little flexible. When a plan is made, I want that plan to happen the way it has been planned. I'm getting better about this for sure. Over the probably the last 20 years, I've definitely had to adjust. When there's other people involved, you got to adjust. So I'm definitely way better at being flexible than I ever used to be. But there's still a little bit of it, like but that was the plan, and now we gotta change, and we gotta rethink how everything's gonna go, and like, how does that work, and what are the mental gymnastics I have to do? And I'm trying to be better about being mentally flexible, about being open to a new, different, or changing requirement. A synonym is elastic. Flexibility is a noun, and flexibly is an adverb. And I also have to shout out just physically the body. Like, how flexible are you? I am not particularly flexible. I do a lot of stretching, and I'm still not very flexible. I'm probably getting better, working on being able to touch the toes and things. But yeah, I'm definitely more flexible than I probably ever used to be. That's good, but I still don't have a lot of flexibility. I can't put my leg over my head. I can't do that. I can the one thing I can sort of do, this was kind of weird, bringing my arm over like that, but I don't know. That's probably not good for my shoulder. All right. I think we did it. I think we did all the words, so now we have to pick a word of the episode. Today we had... What did we have? We had flesh fly, fleshly, fleshment, flesh pot, flesh pressing, flesh wound, fleshy, fleshy fruit, fletch, fletcher, fletching, fleur de coin, fleur de lis, fleury, flew, flews, flex, 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 flex cuff, and flexible. This is very difficult to pick one. There's so many of them were so good. I mean, I really just love flexing, just getting in front of the mirror. I spend easy 6 hours a day just flexing in front of the mirror, just checking out all of those muscles that I have. What else? What else do we got? Let's see. Ooh, flesh pot was interesting. I mean, I think I've heard it, but I'm still a little confused by how it's really used in context. Flesh pressing is kind of funny. Flesh wound, fleshy, flesh. Blah, blah, blah. This one's difficult. So hard to pick one that matters not at all. Let's pick. Where did I see which one? Oh, let's pick flesh wound as the word of the episode. 'Tis a flesh wound. 'Tis a flesh wound. I'm okay. It's just a flesh wound. I can't rhyme off the top of my head so good sometimes. Flesh wound. Flound? I don't know. It's just a flesh wound. I did watch a movie last night. I didn't write it down, but I know it. We watched The Rule of Jenny Penn. It's based on a short story. It takes place in New Zealand in an old folks' home. That's maybe not the proper terminology. Sorry about that. It's for people who have dementia or strokes or physical issues and things like that. And it's a horror movie for a variety of reasons, mostly about the horrors of aging and what can happen to you just physically, and then the situation that you're in and maybe not being treated great. But there's so much more than that. And we had one big issue with the movie. So it was a little it was all well done and everything. There was a lot of great stuff to it, but there was one main issue of like, where are the people who work at this place during the night? Where are they? Why that wasn't realistic? Because everything else was actually pretty realistic. There wasn't anything like fantastical about it. It was all based in reality. So anyway, it was an interesting movie, The Rule of Jenny Penn. And that's going to be the end of this episode. Thank you so much for checking out this show. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing and flexing information.